927104185.
What?
9271027.
David, Clark live with you? Is he home right now? Can I speak with this thing? Is he sleeping right now? No. Sure, it's on 13. You got that blue van out there? Well, officers are trying to get your information because we think that it's, a lot of burglars in the area. There's fights in the van. You verify the van, there's also stolen or anything like that. You think you're cooperative. So, you issue an N citation.
What citation?
N ticket. Report on the first number.
What is the problem?
For resisting police officers, because you weren't preventing your information.
Resisting what?
You were obstructing our job. We saw you parked in the parking lot at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
As I yelled or told the officer that was jerking my chain, I went out to my vehicle at that time to retrieve my phone and cigarettes. If that wasn't good enough for him, then he can call Mr. Oldenburg.
Right. I was there during the incident as well.
And did you also hear the other officers say that he would speak to our management about having my son kicked out of here as a form of a threat?
You're not going to have him kicked out of here.
Yeah, but the threat nonetheless.
I had threats from half a dozen officers standing around my truck because I wouldn't give them. I don't normally sit around the house with the wallet in my pocket, and when I go out to my vehicle just to retrieve an item, I'm not bringing my wallet with me. And this is America. I'm not going to provide ID on demand.
Well, technically, you kind of have to, so we can verify your identity, but somebody's not sitting in
Really, I do believe I have a constitutional right.
You do have a constitutional right, and I totally agree with you 100%. But
well, how come you can't catch the guys that steal the gas out of my car or sabotage my vehicle?
But what if someone was in your van doing the exact same thing you were doing, not IDing themselves? You had your information.
Then you guys really did your job to the T by making sure that you proved who that person in my vehicle was at the time.
Right.
Because for all I know, really, there was a burglar in my vehicle who stole some of my tools, and we let him go.
But you weren't giving us an answer. What we did was we went back to the station. We went back to the station, pulled up the picture, verified that that was you that was in the vehicle. If it wasn't you, then we would have came back and drug that person out who was sitting in the vehicle. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I think you're overstepping your bounds by creating a nuisance of your own.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, ma'am.
Well, the nuisance is making threats about having people evicted when you have no power to do so.
All they want to do is get this citation issued.
Well, what if you don't accept the citation?
Then I'll just sign it, put it here on the trash can, and
well, that's what you're going to have to do, because we're not accepting a citation for exercising our freedom.
I do not pay permission tax.
And I do not accept citations for threats against me or my family.
I wasn't threatening you.
Well, no, but you're making an issue out of the issue that I'm speaking of. And my son said, no, I don't have to show you my D. Now you're making an issue. The issue that the other officers in was real good. You picked up. I don't think he quite has that much power.
I don't know how long you've worked for Park Shores Police Department, how long you've lived in this
But
community.
just leave it in the trash can rather than on it. Should have been done that
I've been
yesterday, put
harassed
garbage
every time I
in
visit my mother for the last 20 plus years by this police department. One of my good neighbors witnessed policemen stealing gasoline from my car right on Cedar Street. Nothing was ever done of that until I sabotaged my own car by rerouting the gas can from the trunk of my car to my engine and contaminating the fuel that was in my gas tank. So whoever was going to steal it wasn't going to get very far when they drive off on diesel fuel and kerosene and transmission fluid and fuel tank, and they didn't get past Sears, which was still there at the time. And some had Narrows had to come pick up their car. And the next day he dropped the fuel tank only to find a whole bunch of black nasty liquid in there. And I told them to sample my car. I said, call the police chief, whoever, come out and verify that I didn't put it in the police car. They put it in themselves. They stole it from my vehicle and put it in their own car.
So you always wait for my...
Yes, and I'm constantly harassed, continuously, every time I come to visit my mother.
I'm sorry to say that, but I have to do my job.
It's called perception of reality.
We understand you're doing your job, so just put that in the trash can.
Well, I mean, are you
happy
going to
to recycle it with the
Sign
rest
what?
of the
Are you going to
garbage?
send a citation, or am I going to have to sign it for you? Are you going to recycle it, or whatever you'd like me to do?
Sign it yourself and leave it in. As I say, I don't pay into extortion in whatever form it comes. Be it a ticket for doing something normal.
Generally, when an officer asks me what my name is, I tell them taxpayer.
So I'm going to put this right here. Do with it what you will. I served you. I'm doing my job. If you want, you can go to court. You can explain to them your situation and why you have to tell me names. I'll explain to you why you have to tell me names. For purposes of it. Okay?
I traveled this whole entire country. I've lived in 39 states. I've never been so degraded and humiliated by the local law enforcement as in my own hometown. I can't walk across Western Avenue without running in between 40 and 50 mile an hour traffic to go to a pharmacy. I never see you guys pulling over people. I see you walking around at night writing people tickets at 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning like stalkers and burglars. I don't see you guys practicing normal police behavior. You guys act like a bunch of criminals sneaking around at night. I mean, and if you were in another part of the country, you'd have been shot by the people that live in those places. Because people that sneak around at night are up to no good. And I'm sorry, that's the kind of places that I live, where I'm living in rural areas in isolation, and somebody goes walking around at night, they ain't up to no good. If they walk on your property, they get shot at.
Okay. I'm going to take this. Somebody's sneaking around here, trying to break into your house. Our officer's going to be better protecting being quiet, walking around, or are they going to...
Yeah, there was a lady being raped at the entrance to the woods over there, and
over on Birch?
years ago, ununiformed officer off duty, he got into a foot pursuit, and another gentleman got in a car pursuit. They ran past the front of our building. There's no street there. A car drove past the front of our building, chasing the man down. And I was able to get on the phone and call the police and get squad cars over to Sears before that man was able to get inside the building and take hostage. They did find a weapon on him, which was perfectly capable. And besides that, my father was a policeman until I was 9, and I had the utmost respect for the law. What I don't have respect for is people that have their own agenda as law enforcement officers. And unfortunately, there's a few on your department that have personal agendas. And they like to exercise those agendas behind their back. Hiding. And if I catch the guy that steals the gas out of my vehicle or sabotages it, I'm sorry. There's nothing you guys are going to be able to do. You can't catch him and prosecute him, and I have to protect my own property, which I have a constitutional right to do. Now, another years ago, this very end, one was right on their porch, right, trying to get in the door.
It started way before my time.
Right. And I'm telling you, just the crimes that go around here, and then all I end up seeing for my tax dollars is tickets harassing me for trying to be an upstanding citizen. I'm not. I'll turn my back on this town, just like the town turned its back on me. Well, I hope the town can restore the respect I once had for it.
Well, I'll try to do that. I'll try to do this for sure, but I gotta do what I gotta do if I want to stop anything.
Yeah, see, when your boss tells you to do. Now, is that police procedure or is that his personal agenda? Sure it is, sure it is. To go pick on one individual person continuously. No, it's not. Maybe face to face. You ticketed my vehicle numerous times on the street, in the parking lot.
You're valid. Why would I pick you? Why would I pick you at all? You're valid. You're up to date. As far as I can see, within the limit.
As of today?
As of today. If you're expired, I'll ticket you just like anybody else that I think is expired.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Why don't you do me a favor and the police department a favor and all the citizens of Cedarwood? There's a motorcycle on the other side of on Dogwood over there, at the end of the parking lot. It's been sitting there since last winter.
Want me to dunk it? I'll go jump it for you, so that'll make you mad.
I'm tired of looking at it. It's been sitting. I get ticketed repeatedly, and there's some stupid motorcycle. You know, who does he know that he don't get a ticket every week, every day?
No, I'll go over there right now and see what I can do. I'll put a big orange sticker on it, say if we get junked, if we don't take care of it, alright?
It ain't moved in 6 months that I've seen.
Alright.
And you can ask some of the neighbors that live around there. I'm sure they're tired of looking at it too. And we've got vehicles sitting on the street with flat tires for months on end, never ticketed. But I'm here 1 day, 2 days, I get a snotty ticket. And I ain't even on the public street. I get a ticket for parking in the parking lot. I got you guys. I just don't got your back no more.